Hello dear ones, it's been a while. I've been pondering about my delivery, about whether or not I can convey across this video, across the YouTube, across the world, what it is that is driving me and is inspiring me to seek after this wisdom and this knowledge that is there for us all. I want to talk some more today about fear, to get back to the practicalities. This is the second part of the teaching about fear, and today I want to talk about what-if thinking. That one of the ways in which we cause fear, and therefore one of the ways in which we can stop fear, is in becoming aware of our thinking. We don't normally think about our thinking. Our thinking has us and it guides us, and the mind is a good servant, but it's a really poor master. And so it's very important to be able to get hold of what it is that our thinking is doing to generate and create fear in us. Our minds don't distinguish between fantasy and reality. As you probably know, that the light that enters your eyes and hits the back of the retina actually creates an upside down image, and that gets transmitted into the part of your brain that's responsible for vision, and it goes through the part of your brain that's responsible for cognitions or ideas. So our vision and what we see is very much affected by what we think, and what we feel is certainly very much affected by what we think. And the brain doesn't distinguish between fantasies or ideas about what exists and imaginings. That is, that if we have an imagining that's very vivid and we believe it about something, it may not be real, but it will have an impact on us, and we will have a reaction to it like it was actually real. For those people who've ever had the what-ifs at 4 o'clock in the morning, what if this headache is actually a brain tumour? What if my child gets abducted from the supermarket? What if I lose my job? What if I lose my house? And I can assure you, after lots and lots of years of working with people with anxiety and many, many what-if thoughts, that not a single one of those thoughts ever come to pass in the way that people think. And if things do come to pass that you have thought about, they're never the way that you think when you're in the middle of it. If you are in some kind of an emergency situation, if you've ever been in an emergency situation, you know that how you deal with it is very, very different than how you might imagine when you were contemplating the possibility. So really important to understand that our what-if thinking actually creates fear. It creates scary scenarios that will never come to pass in the way that we think, and consequently what happens is that it generates a fear, because thoughts and feelings are deeply connected. Thoughts, if you like, are the feeling part in the head, and feelings are the thought part in the body. They're really a continuum. They're one and the same. And the feelings are accompanied by sensations in the body, sensations of fear, like a beating heart or sweaty palms, and they just seem to reinforce the truth of whatever it is that we're thinking. And that can create a kind of a spiral where our thoughts and feelings create a feedback loop. I had something happen on the computer the other day. I don't know what I did. I opened another application trying out a different way of recording, and I had left the Webcam Central application open, and a feedback loop started, and the computer just went crazy, and it was just starting to absolutely escalate the noise until I thought, oh my goodness, this is just going to explode, and I didn't know what to do. I just turned the computer off. But There's a feedback loop, and it's exactly the same with thoughts and feelings. They escalate and escalate. The feelings of fear reinforce the thoughts reinforce the feelings in a spiral that escalates in intensity until people get into panic, and where they can get to a place where they think they're going to die, they think they're going to explode, they think something's going to break or crack, or they're going to crack. People think they're going to die or go crazy, and it's a horrible, horrible experience. So it's very, very important, just checking the time, it's just very important that you first of all become aware of that what-if thinking, become aware that they are possibilities, and think about the fact that when those people who've suffered anxiety, you think back to all the what-if thoughts you've had. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I said, you know, if you went to somebody, if you went to a psychic and said to them, and you paid them a lot of money, and they made a whole lot of predictions, and you kept going back to them, you'd visited them many times over, and you kept going back to them, and every single thing that they said was wrong, would you continue to believe that they were reliable and that they could really see into the future? Well, our thinking, if you investigate that what-if thinking, it's completely unreliable. You think yourself of all the what if this, what if that, what if the other thing thoughts that you've had, and see if any single one of them came true, or if they did, if they were anything like what you imagined. So if they're that unreliable, and you've had thousands or millions of these thoughts sometimes in your life, why would you continue to accept them as true? Because it's not the thinking per se that's the problem, it's that we accept that thinking as true. So one very, very powerful and important way of managing the what-if thinking is saying to yourself, you challenge that thought. You use your awareness and your understanding to come at it from a different part of you. The what-if thinking has its roots in the unconscious. There are reasons for it, which I'll talk about another time, as to why we generate those thoughts. But one of the single most effective ways is to say, okay, I hear that, I'll worry about it if it happens. I'll worry about it if it happens. Defer your worry until it happens. Now, on top of that, the Buddhists have a wonderful saying. What they say is, if you can do something about it, don't worry. If you can't do anything about it, don't worry. In other words, don't worry. Worry is freewheeling. It is fruitless. It just continues to chew over the same old information without being able to come to any new results. And in the meantime, it generates a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. So think about your thinking. Look for your what-if thoughts, and if they pop up, you challenge them, you speak to them, you talk to yourself. It's called self-talk. Talk to yourself and say, okay, I'll worry about that if it happens. And that will never happen. Good night, everybody.